With a slew of attractive new condo launches ending 2024 and going into 2025, here are 10 key considerations you need to know before buying any new launch property. Now, in this list, there's going to be more questions than answers per se, because these are the crucial questions that you need to ask and be aware of as the purchaser of the property to avoid any potentially costly mistakes or pitfalls. Number 1. Your current property ownership and eligibility. Now, the most clear-cut case is you're above 21 years old and you do not own any existing property, or if you're buying with a spouse or a sibling that none of you own any existing property, then congrats, you can directly proceed to work out your affordability and purchase the unit. But of course, this is upon the preface that you are a Singapore citizen. If you're a permanent resident or foreigner, then you have to get ready to fork out the corresponding additional buyer's stamp duty levied upon the property price. Now, of course, it's not always the case that you're buying the new launch as your first property. More often than not, buyers of new launches are upgrading from their existing BTO or HDB, or are property investors. In this case, your eligibility will depend on the type of property you're holding, and there's some corresponding decisions to be made there as well. Most commonly, if you currently own a HDB flat, has it met its minimum occupation period? Have you held your private property for more than 3 years to be exempt from the seller stamp duty? Do you need to sell your property? Do you want to consider decoupling to free up one name? But please note, you cannot do decoupling for HDB flats. What about taking the route of ABSD remission? Is that the more practical option for you? Or lastly, is there another free name in your family nucleus that can become the purchaser, such as your adult children or your spouse? It is crucial to know your eligibility to buy as early as possible, to avoid disappointment when you're informed that you're not eligible to buy only during the show flat preview. Number 2. If you're buying for your own stay. Now, some of the key considerations if you're buying for your own residence. Firstly, of course, how many rooms would you need? How many bathrooms? Any specific size or layout requirements? Would you need space for your helper, for your pets, or for your own home office? What about location? Must it be near to your workplace? Do you need walking distance to the MRT station or easy access to the highway because you drive? Are you buying for school, for your kids' primary 1 enrollment, or buying near to an existing college? Is a mixed development okay for you, or you need the project to be purely residential? What about condo facilities and provisions? Do you need a project with many swimming pools or a state-of-the-art gym? Do you prefer an on-site private childcare center? Some buyers buy for beautiful panoramic views from their balcony, but for you, you might not need a balcony at all. On a macro aspect, would you have plans to upgrade to another residence in the future, or plan to stay for the long term? And how does the timeline fit into your plan? Number 3, buying for investment. If you're buying for investment, your set of requirements may be very different. You may be looking at the smallest unit size possible. You want to find out what's the unit with the lowest entry price. Key numbers with regards to rental demand in this district: is the project located near economic or business hubs, education institutes, or other areas with high rental demand? How's the overall market outlook, such as supply and demand numbers and current interest rates? What about competition from surrounding projects, considering factors such as age, tenure, distance to MRT, amenities, distance to school, etc., any current or future transformations in the area? And lastly, do you have a clear exit strategy? Number 4, know your product. Buying a new launch property is just like buying any other product, especially if you're committing to a big purchase. You need to know what you are buying. So we are talking about the attributes of the project down to the specific unit and details. How do you ascertain the quality of the developer and their track record? The build quality of the tower blocks, the common facilities, down to the units themselves. Does the developer value add, such as providing air-conditioned arrival plazas, function rooms with cooking facilities, free shuttle bus service, and so on? Very crucially, how's the unit layout? Are the layouts efficient? For own stay, does it have a proper enclosed kitchen if you cook frequently? Does it perhaps have rental efficient layouts, such as a 2+ study that you can potentially convert into a 3-bedder, or perhaps an ideal dual key unit layout? Know your unit stack and facing. What are the potential views that you'll be getting? Any potential sun or sound issue? How does your product compare against other similar products in the area? For instance, how do the different Lentor projects differ? Or how do the different District 15 projects compare against each other, and ultimately which one is the best fit for you? It is strongly recommended to view the show flats in person so that you can better experience the similarities and differences between each project. Number 5, unit details and provisions. While the final details comes at a later stage, you want to be aware of what's included and what's not, and the do's and don'ts of the property. These are typically only detailed in a property details information or PDI document after you purchase the property. What's your unit floor size? What strata area and what's not? Are the wall tiles or certain storage racks provided, or are they show flat ID treatment? Very commonly, the walls. What are the structural walls and what are the walls that you can hack? Does the developer offer different finishing options? For example, example, for your floor tiles or for your door placement. What's the approved balcony screen? Can you install zip track? What are the pros and cons of doing so? Number 6, financing plan. Now we come to the numbers of it all. How do you plan to finance your purchase? What are the components of financing? Cash, CPF, taking a loan. Most owners will take up a housing loan and utilize their CPF monies to offset the cash upfront. But for yourself, perhaps you wish to and can pay in full cash. Is the purchase price of your choice unit within your affordability? Have you accounted for the price increase per floor level or premium facing stacks? How much cash do you need to stand by and by when? How much CPF can you utilize? What about taxation? What is the buyer stamp duty amount for your property? Do you pay in cash or CPF? Do you need to pay ABSD? What is the ABSD amount upfront if you're going for remission? Does it still make sense to purchase with ABSD? What is the monthly or quarterly maintenance fee and share value of your choice unit? Number 7, bank loan. Now, most purchasers will require to take a bank loan for their property. Have you done up an IPA with your preferred banker? It is recommended to do so early to have an idea of your affordability and corresponding unit options. Can you borrow the maximum 75% loan to value amount? If not, what are your options? Do you want to consider gearing up by putting in a fixed deposit with the bank or pledging an amount? Also understand the bank conditions, terms, monthly installments, interest rates, refinancing options, and so on. It is quite crucial to have a good banker, particularly experienced in doing BUC cases. If you're keen, you can reach out to me. Number 8, timelines and progressive payment. A new launch property takes averagely 3 to 4 years to build. Are you aware of the building sequence and payment timelines? How does a progressive payment for new launches work? How do the numbers break down? How much is the option fee? How much is the down payment? When to pay the 5% option fee? When do you need to exercise the S&P contract? When and how to pay the 15%? When and how to pay stamp duty? When will foundation be called? When will your bank loans start to be dispersed? When will your project TOP, and when can you collect keys? And are you aware of when your SSD liability starts? Number 9, legal boundaries. When you purchase a BUC or building under construction, you require a law firm to represent you, the purchaser. The liaison will primarily be done between the developer's law firm and your law firm. What are your legal rights should the developer fail to deliver on their contractual obligations? For instance, failure to complete the project on time. Conversely, what are the developer's legal rights? What if somehow you fail to exercise the option after paying the 5% option fee? What if you happen to back out after exercising the option? So you also want to be represented by a law firm experienced in doing BUC cases to handle your specific case and help you untangle the nitty-gritty of it all. Last, but certainly not least, the balloting system. Nowadays, the selection and subsequent purchase of new launch units undergo a balloting system. Every purchaser who has submitted an expression of interest with a blank check or cashier's order shall be allocated a randomized queue number, which determines whether they get to pick a unit early or late in the queue. Now, this will directly affect whether you get to pick your top choice unit. So obviously, you want to get an early queue number. But then again, it is crucial to shortlist a range of units, especially if this is the project for you, so that you're ready to secure a unit of your choice when it's your turn to choose. And it is strongly recommended to do this prior to the booking day itself, because units move very swiftly and it will get very intense and stressful if you're still undecided. And indecisiveness may be costly if you're unable to make a quick decision on the spot. Alright, so if you watched to the end of this video, I hope what I shared will aid you in your new launch purchase. You can always reach out to me for any further questions or assistance. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.